Hello everyone, CraftyAndy here, and this is CraftyArts, where we art. Now, today what we're doing is we're taking this evil looking sketchbook I got, and we're filling it up with a bunch of horror elements. And, well, say hi to the camera, Steve. You always were such a kidder, Steve. So, with this evil looking monstrosity we got here, you might be thinking, why are we doing a horror themed episode when it's past October, past Halloween? Well, it's always a good time for horror. Sorry.
Even before I knew the concept, I was always a fan of cosmic and psychological themed horror. Stories like The Thing, Annihilation, Silent Hill, Eternal Darkness, they have a lot more going for it than a scary monster or ghoul. Initially, I was thinking of making this in relation to the Lovecraftian Cthulhu mythos or demonology like in Doom, but why recreate something mainstream and popular when I can make up my own stuff that's completely unknown? Seems logical. Now for the drawings, the sketches themselves are just done with a simple lead holder and HB grade lead. These are all related to the prompts from Inktober in 2019, a call to artists every year in October to make one drawing a day for 31 days. Some of the prompts are being saved for future episodes, so to keep up to date and get notified when they get finished.
Come on, you don't know what to do on YouTube when it comes to staying notified and up to date? Well, I do have a Patreon.
The goal was to take every prompt that I could and fit it within the themes of Steve the Cosmic Horror book here, which I got from Abbott's Hollow Studios. First, I soaked all the pages in dark roasted coffee. Now, you can't soak them all at once because they'll stick together when they dry, so they have to be done individually. So, to recreate the experience of painting this, here is one page of the book being done right now. Now take this part of the video, rewind it, and play it back 200 times, and you'll have a feeling of what it was like. Now, a book of cosmic horror like this needs a proper introduction. I wrote this in an ancient and forgotten way of writing known as script, or cursive. Let this book be a guide to the other reality that is parallel to our own Earth. Creatures, sights, and monuments that defy all that we know as logic. The Chaos Weaver's influence leaks into the world, continuing the twisting of reality. Brought about by the ancients. What they gain from such actions, I do not know. Humans here are drawn to them en masse, entering their tower only to never return. This book itself compels me to fill its pages, living as a single eye with no ears or mouth. The visions I have witnessed, sanity leaking from my mind. Take heed to this knowledge if you find yourself drawn into this world, as I have been. I went with a limited alphabet for this in order to make figuring out what the passages say a little more of a challenge. Some of it is deliberately written in English when translated one for one, just to add a little extra effort in order to read it properly. The inking itself is done with a combination of acrylic ink on pen nibs, acrylic paint, and Faber-Castell markers. A lot of crosshatching was used in a way to give the various pieces contrast and value, following the basic comic book rules regarding line width. The closer something is, the thicker the outlines, while inside the figures and background items have thinner lines as to keep everything from blending in together. So let's set the atmosphere, and nothing sets the atmosphere better than a pattern of greasy flesh, ever moving like the flesh that binds the pages with pulsating green sacs. Tasty. Now, the legend behind this world, the deity, I wanted to keep the true form ambiguous. A Terran reality represented in the center of the page, obscuring its face, for even in book form, to see its true form would end one's existence. And following the prompt of Dizzy, describes this being as follows. Chaos Weaver, World Twister, Reality Distorter. Embrace and be changed. The spiral related to a sense of ever-changing form, held together in some semblance of shape by a weave of fragile tendons. Sometimes the price one must pay for power doesn't dissuade the pursuit of it. A ring that demonstrates that price in design, as it reads, "Place with spikes pointed away." Once placed on one's hand, it cannot be removed without causing a loss of blood, to say the least. As it reads on the band itself, "Flesh for power." Now, the kinds of creatures I imagine in this world would primarily exist to enact sinister, unforgiving nature. In this case, the mindless will latch on, drain your brain, and make you a carrier to spread its influence. Like a black widow, sometimes the smallest things can be the deadliest, especially when it comes to things you cannot see. In our Earth, we have viruses and bacteria that are often treatable in most cases, while in this realm we have things such as a mimic parasite, which has infested this husky. It mimics the likeness of lesser creatures, hiding the true form of the morphology, often bringing it close to others of its kind, which they will then be absorbed. The cold latcher, something that appears to be the size of a cat, that latches on a target and nearly instantly freezes their head. Preferably incapacitating prey, usually much larger than itself, as we can see demonstrated on this poor fellow right here. More formidable would be these creatures of snow. Beings that are tormented by the cold, and let's try to keep things wholesome here, we'll say that they want to feel the warmth. Think of them as poor, furless animals that are just looking to get a warm coat off of someone. Yeah, we'll go with that. Even the plants can be something to fear. Some bait prey appearing to be something harmless, in this case, a flower, hiding a massive tooth-filled trap below ground, waiting for some unfortunate soul to come across it. A mindless growth that exists only to consume, as does the swing tree here, which will swing you right into its trunk, which I'm sure is just filled with piles of cookies and candy.
Yeah, I know, I was stretching it when it came to this prompt. Give me a break, alright?
They will twist frail minds. To gaze upon them is to turn feral. A native of this world, very intelligent to the point it will only speak to others of its kind through telepathy, and for the rest, they will lose their minds gazing into their eyes. Why their face is left completely blank in this depiction.
Man, this is getting kind of dark. We need to lighten up the mood here a little bit.
How about a dragon? Dragons can be cute. Look at this guy with those giant horns and empty eyes. And it looks like there's a little friend he made down there. I think we have a pair of brothers gazing upon each other, ready to soul bond. Oh, well, I guess his friend had to go away. How about some friendly ghosts? Yeah, I was trying to really think out of the box when it came to this one. I wanted to stay far away from any cliched, transparent apparition or anything typical when it came to this prompt. What I decided to do here, in terms of detail involving a lot of repetition, made me glad that I wear these compression gloves for my hands. They make extensive amounts of typing, drawing, mouse clicking, and controller handling that much more bearable. Now, where was I? Let's get back into the spirit of things here. Yes, the Ancients. Something not exactly monstrous in appearance, but their power is unmatched and their ultimate goal is unclear. Some have theorized whatever they are doing seems to attract the Chaos Weaver's attention. Now here we have a sight that has always led up to pleasant things in every story. A line of people in the same robes heading into a geometrically impossible tower, enchanted by the crystal resonating its energies on top. No one knows what happens in there that seems to make everyone that enter not want to leave. I'm sure it in no way involves something sinister, as if the Ancients are using humans as some sort of commodity to feed their machines that no one knows how they work other than themselves, and what exactly it does to people in there. Here's another Ancient at work right now, building a walking abomination made out of people who have recently changed their living status to non-living status. Hey, it's like an overcrowded swimming pool. Leave a little elbow room in there, terrifying ancient one. Jeez.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. It looks like we had one of those happy accidents.
So to get real here, I thought this book was ruined. I had black ink all over the place, and it broke me. I just sat there sulking, thinking I just destroyed this thing. But after I gathered myself together and recovered from my emotions, I started thinking of a way to make this work and still fit within the theme of the book. So I went over all the black splotches with red ink, making it look like it came from sitting in someone else's plasma. Now the final step was just snapping pics with my Galaxy 8 phone and using Photoshop to make adjustments to the lighting using curve and selective color adjustment layers. And here we have the final rendered pieces. This was an endurance to finish. It helped me hone in my work ethic and challenged me in ways that I felt increased my artistic skill. And so I decided I'm going to make this a tradition every year in October, continuing to fill this book until it's full. And yeah, that's it.
So yeah, it was quite the journey. Some missteps along the way, but so far so good. We'll see what happens next year. So if you want to keep up to date with that and future episodes, subscribe. There's a Patreon, yada yada.